It's the Line Makers on Sporting News, presented by Jack Daniels.
The Line Makers are having a blast this week here at the South Point Casino in Las Vegas. I'm Brian Blessing with Kenny White, and we're going to preview the Redskins' visit to St. Louis to take on the Rams. A game that opened 2.5, 45.5 is up to the key number of 3. And Kenny, I just got to ask you, what would you have made this line last week before the Redskins went into New Orleans and beat the Saints?
Well, not just myself, Brian. Everyone involved in the business would have made St. Louis a 1-point favorite, if not 1.5.
Is it an overreaction?
It's definitely an overreaction. When you're looking at St. Louis should have been a slight favorite, now you're looking at a team being a 3-point favorite on the road. This is going to be a completely different game than last week.
All right, for RG3, as great as he looked against the Saints, we talked about Shanahan's ability to have his team on both sides of the ball so prepared with 6-7 weeks to prepare. Now, it's a 5-day work week. Now we'll find out what he's made of.
No doubt about it. I got to believe that was one of the best freebies RG3 will ever see. And I'm going to say that will be the best game he plays the entire season.
Let's go to the other side of the equation. I'll try to draw the correlation of Sam Bradford to Matthew Stafford. If he stays healthy, I think he's capable of big things.
Well, most quarterbacks take 2 to 3 years, even 4 sometimes, to really develop where they need to be. Bradford's been banged up a little bit, just as Stafford was. If he can stay healthy this year, he may have one of those years. He just doesn't have the same weapons around him that Stafford has in Detroit.
Well, let me talk about the X factor, and you personally with your ratings, the fact that Jeff Fisher is roaming the sidelines with St. Louis. How big a difference is that?
That's huge. Well, it paid off last week, obviously, to start the season with an ATS cover and almost a win. Jeff Fisher is one of the top coaches in the NFL. He knows how to prepare. And in St. Louis, there's a new rival atmosphere there that everybody's up-tempo about what's going on. So I think St. Louis is going to play with a lot of energy for Jeff Fisher.
The home opener, a home dog right now catching a field goal is the value with the dog.
Well, dogs do pretty good in week 2. They cover more than 60% of the time over the last 5 years. Less time to prepare. I think that it's advantage to the home team, but it's also advantage to the home dog.
Plus, Garcon had a big game and a nice target for RG3, and he's hobbled a little bit. That doesn't help.
Yeah, no, it doesn't help the Redskins. But I'm telling you, that was one of the easiest games that Griffin will ever have. This week, it's going to be much different. St. Louis and Jeff Fisher has that game film. They will know a little bit more what's coming. The Saints were in the dark.
All right, watch for it. We'll see if it's a dose of reality for RG3 and the Redskins on the road when they visit St. Louis this weekend.